Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 599, The Lincoln Walk, Words with a Silent L, Intermediate. A story incorporating words which are pronounced with a silent L. John was a calm man who lived a simple life. He was known among his local folk for his quiet nature and his long, thoughtful walks. Today, he would be taking his longest walk yet, all the way to the city of Lincoln. He had a special letter to deliver. It wasn't urgent, but it should be hand-delivered. He packed a small bag. Inside, he put a piece of white chalk, a water bottle, and his lunch, the sandwich with smoked salmon and cucumber. He had carefully cut the sandwich in half to make it easier to eat on the road. As he began his journey, the morning sun was low in the sky. He didn't want to stop and talk to anyone. He preferred the peace of the open road. He hummed a quiet psalm to himself, a tune his grandmother had taught him. He wondered if he could make the entire journey before the sun went down. The path was dusty and winding, but he knew the way well. He had used the piece of chalk to mark a small X on his front door, a simple sign to let his brother know he was gone. The hours passed, and he was surprised at how quickly the miles went by. The world seemed to fall away, leaving him alone with his thoughts. By late afternoon, the spire of Lincoln Cathedral appeared in the distance. He felt a sense of peace settle over him. He had done what he set out to do. He delivered the letter, shared a cup of tea with the person who received it, and began his much shorter return journey. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The simple act of the walk had been a reward in itself. Vocabulary notes. Calm. Definition: an adjective meaning peaceful, quiet, and not excited or worried. It describes a state of mind or a quiet atmosphere. Example: John was a calm man who lived a simple life. Similar words: serene, tranquil, peaceful, relaxed. Folk. Definition: a noun used to refer to people in general, or a particular group of people. It's often used in a slightly old-fashioned or informal way. Example: he was known among his local folk for his quiet nature. Similar words: people, crowd, community, locals. Hummed. Definition: a verb, past tense of hum, meaning to sing with your lips closed, making a low, continuous sound. It's often a sign of contentment or concentration. Example: he hummed a quiet psalm to himself, a tune his grandmother had taught him. Similar words: sang, softly, droned, murmured. Spire. Definition: a noun for a tall, pointed structure on the top of a building, especially on a church or cathedral. Example: by late afternoon, the spire of Lincoln Cathedral appeared in the distance. Similar words: pinnacle, steeple, tower. Satisfaction. Definition: a noun that describes the feeling of pleasure or contentment you get when you have done something you wanted to do, or when you feel something is good enough. Example: he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Similar words: contentment, fulfillment, gratification, happiness. Story written by Gemini Pro AI. Image created by 1minute.ai. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, drifting at 432 Hz, unicorn heads.
Hello and welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're going to tackle one of the trickiest, kind of weirdest parts of English pronunciation, the silent letter. You know, those letters that just hide in plain sight in a word. Getting these right is a huge step to sounding more natural. So, ready to dive in?
Okay, let's start with a little pop quiz. Take a look at these 3 words. What do they all have in common? I'll say them for you. Calm, folk, salmon. Listen one more time, really closely. calm, folk, salmon. The clue here isn't what you're hearing, it's what you're not hearing.
Did you figure it out? The answer is a silent L. Yep, that's right. In all three of those words, the letter L is just there for looks. It's totally silent. It's one of those fantastic little quirks about English, and once you get the hang of it, your fluency is going to sound so much better.
Now, I could just throw a boring list of rules at you, but where's the fun in that? Instead, we're going to follow a little story called The Lincoln Walk. Seeing these words used in a real story makes them so much easier to remember. So let's go meet our main character, John. So, our story kicks off with John getting ready for a big trip. The words we're hunting for are kind of hidden in the details of how he gets ready for his walk.
So the story begins. John was a calm man. He was known among his local folk for his quiet nature. And boom, right away in the very first sentence, we've got our first two words, calm and folk. Let's break them down.
First up, calm. Pretty simple word, right? It just means peaceful, not worried. But the pronunciation is key. A lot of people try to say calm, really trying to hit that L sound. But nope, that L is completely silent. The right way to say it is just calm. Go on, try it. Calm. Next up, folk, which is just a word for people. And you guessed it, same exact deal as calm. The L is taking a nap. So instead of folk, you just say fuck. You know, like the local folk. See? Easy. All right, so John keeps packing his bag, and the story hits us with three more words at once. He packs a piece of white chalk, a sandwich with smoked salmon, and then he cuts it in half. There you go. Chalk, salmon, half. All three of them have that sneaky little silent L. Okay, let's talk about salmon. Oh boy, this word trips up so many people. Seriously, that L might as well not even be in the word. We do not say salmon. The correct way is salmon. Now you can order it at a restaurant and sound like a pro. And the exact same rule applies to the word half. Doesn't matter if you're talking about half an hour or cutting a pizza in half, you never ever pronounce that L. It's simply H-A-F, not half. It's a small change, but it makes a huge difference in how natural you sound. And the last one from this section is chalk. You know, just like the words talk or walk, you don't hear the L in those either, do you? Same thing. It's pronounced chalk. So let's do a quick recap. We've got calm, folk, salmon, half, and chalk. You're building an awesome list already. Okay, so John is finally on his journey. He's walking along, keeping himself company. And this brings us to our next word. And I gotta warn you, this one might be the trickiest of all. The story says he hummed a quiet psalm to himself. Okay, take a good look at this word. P-S-A-L-M. This word is a total curveball. We're talking about a double whammy of silent letters here. You just gotta love how weird English can be sometimes. So a psalm is a sacred song, you know, like from the Bible. To say this word correctly, you have to basically ignore two of its letters. The P at the beginning, gone, silent. The L in the middle, also silent. So all you're left with is S-A-M. It rhymes with calm. It looks so complicated, but the pronunciation is actually super simple once you know the secret. Psalm.
So a few hours go by. John's still walking, and he's getting closer to where he's going. He can just start to see the spire of the huge Lincoln Cathedral way off in the distance.
And he makes it. He finally arrives. The story wraps up by describing this really powerful feeling John has now that he's finished his big task. So here's the final line from our story. He felt a deep sense of satisfaction. You know that feeling of contentment when you accomplish something? Well, that's his reward for the journey. And it brings us to our final word.
Satisfaction. It's that great feeling of fulfillment when you finally achieve a goal. Now, you're probably thinking, wait a second, there's no silent L in satisfaction. And you are 100% right. I threw in a little bonus word. It's not part of the rule, but it perfectly captures how John felt and hopefully how you feel now that you've totally cracked the silent L code. So, there we have it. We followed John on his walk, and we collected a whole bunch of silent L words along the way. Now let's put them all together for one last look. It's your turn to talk.
Here it is, your new toolkit of silent L words.
Let's say them all one more time, nice and clear. We've got calm, folk, salmon, half, chalk, and that super tricky one, psalm. Now, I know you see satisfaction on the list, too. Remember, that was our bonus word for the theme of the story. Practice these, and you'll be using them like a pro in no time.
And that just about does it for today's explainer. You know, the silent L is really just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to English pronunciation puzzles. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What other silent letter words can you think of? You know, words with a silent K, or a silent B, or a silent W. The learning journey never really ends. Thanks so much for watching.